It's true. We have good news for FTX. Also, Grayscale is withdrawing, and Gary Gensler gaslighting as usual. Uh, First, let's go over FTX. It's now becoming apparent and not guaranteed yet. It does still have to be decided and agreed upon in a Delaware bankruptcy court. But it looks like all creditors of FTX, at least those who had $50,000 or less on the exchange, will be paid back 100% in cash. So they're getting dirty fiat. Additionally, even better news, possibly there could be some interest paid in addition to this, maybe up to 146% back total. So being made 100% plus an extra chunk on top of that. Is this capital going to flow back into Bitcoin at the top possibly of this next bull market? Are they going to wait and buy low like a good investor? Also, here's my conspiracy hat for you guys, is that time and again we've had the experience of counterparty risk of using a centralized exchange as your custodian for holding your cryptocurrencies as a risk. The downfall of FTX, the downfall of Mt. Gox, the downfall of Cryptopia, the downfall of Quadriga CX, and many, many others should have proven this risk to be very real and palpable. But now that not only are people getting repaid 100%, but even more so, is this going to encourage more people to be using centralized exchanges as their custodial solution? Because the risk of taking true ownership over your cryptocurrencies I'm digressing a little bit. I get a lot of comments on my videos when I talk about taking ownership and custody over your coins. There's always a crowd of people that say, you lose. So many people have lost their crypto when they've tried to take in custody over their coins. Not nearly as many as people who have lost their crypto due to counterparty risk presented by third-party and custodian solutions. This payout is attributed to the fact that the new CEO of FTX, basically the guy who's been cleaning up this whole mess, he was able to sell some of the venture capital investments made by FTX and Alameda Research to cover these costs of repaying the creditors. Okay, moving on to Grayscale. They have officially withdrawn their application for a Ethereum ETF. They first applied for this back in September of last year, of 2023, and now that the SEC has yet again postponed their decision to approve or not approve the spot Ethereum ETF, Grayscale has chosen to withdraw their application. Now, this is kind of ironic because Grayscale was fighting the SEC for years upon years upon years, fighting to get a spot Bitcoin ETF passed. It took them to court, finally won that court case, and that is what sparked all of these massive approvals of the spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, Grayscale has been suffering from month after month of billions of dollars worth of outflows from their own Bitcoin spot ETF. They're suffering from the competition of BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, you name it. Maybe Grayscale just has to withdraw because they can't afford it. Maybe they're just being far more conservative. Speculate what you will. Let me know in the comments down below. Last story for today, we have to talk about Gary Gensler. He was on CNBC recently on Squawk Box, where he was saying how, man, it's so annoying for him how crypto essentially represents about roughly 2% or less of the whole markets that the SEC regulates. I think in total they regulate about $110 trillion worth of the market cap of the markets that they do, stocks, bonds, and crypto. But crypto representing only about 2.4 trillion of that 110 trillion. Yet, the majority of their questions and attention and reporting is focused on crypto. And so it's a chicken or the egg situation. Which came first? Because the CNBC host, as Gary is complaining that most of this attention is put on crypto, he's like, well, it seems like it's because you guys are focusing on crypto a lot. And he said, nah, it's because that's where you're directing the questions towards. So that's what he's responding to. Again, chicken or the egg. But so he's trying so hard to say crypto is such a we're not really focused on crypto, yet year after year they are requesting from Congress an increased budget specifically so that they can regulate crypto. And he's also saying, of course, that despite the small size of the crypto markets representative of everything that they regulate, crypto has by far the most scams, the most frauds, etc.
Right.
Saying the guy who is actively targeting legitimate crypto companies like, for example, Kraken, Coinbase, Uniswap, Robinhood, MetaMask, and Ripple Labs. All of these are pretty legitimate, and all of them have in some way tried to be regulatory compliant within the SEC. Turns out crypto can't fit really nicely in the box of traditional finance, and the SEC time and time again has refused to provide specific regulations, specific qualifications for reporting and for being regulatory compliant as a crypto company for the SEC. So again, this cycle is just going to continue. Gary's going to keep gaslighting us, but those of us already know that crypto doesn't need the SEC, the crypto doesn't need the US. It's the other way around, and one day they're all going to realize it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get even more insights on our perspective on crypto, what we're doing with our crypto, how we're investing in it, check out learningcrypto.com. If you want to hear Toby's outspoken ideas and conversation inspiring tweets, you can't miss them at Sir Crypto Tips on Twitter. All of the links to our official social medias are down below in the video description. Thanks so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.